Welcome to the osgui.com tutorial on how to install, or I should say upgrade, Windows Vista to Linux Mint. Here I'm in the BIOS, which I press F12 to get to, or sometimes it's delete, but on a laptop it's F12 for a compact laptop. Go in there, make sure it's set to boot from the CD first, and here it's booted from the CD because I've put a Linux Mint CD that I burnt in there. Now I've made a previous tutorial on how to burn that CD and how to download it in Windows, so follow that tutorial to see how to do that. And here we can see that Linux Mint is booting off the CD. In just a few moments it will have finished loading off the CD into a live operating system environment where we can test all the hardware works, so we can check that the wireless works and the sound works and the video and all those type of things. Now with this particular compact laptop I've got, it's got wireless drivers that need to be downloaded after the operating system's installed, and I know that from past experience. What I have to do is connect an Ethernet cable to the laptop just for a few minutes so that I can download the wireless driver, and then I can connect with wireless and do the rest of it. And here I've zoomed out and you can see that I am indeed installing this on a real laptop. That's why the quality is so bad. Sorry, I'm just recording this video tutorial with my $180 Canon camera, and it's that was a couple of years ago the price. It's a cheap one, they don't even make anymore. Doesn't have the highest resolution, certainly not a high definition video, so sorry about that, but I wanted to show you what it's like on a real laptop, not just what it's like in a virtual machine like I have in the previous videos. I wanted to show you how it's very easy and quick to go into the BIOS and make sure that it boots off the CD. In most cases, most computers will just do that, but sometimes they might have been set not to. So that's the case now. We've loaded the CD here, and you just need to click on the install icon, and it opens up the installer. The first thing it's asking is your language, so we'll accept that we speak English, and then location. I'm not going to change that for the demonstration. Then what kind of keyboard? US. Well, yep, they're all US keyboards pretty much that we use here. Right. So next a couple of times. You don't even really need to type anything in there yet. Now it's loading the partitioner. Now what I've got on this laptop is just one partition that is an 80 gig hard drive that has Windows Vista on it, and here it's saying it can resize it. So I'm choosing to. It's allowing me to select how much space I leave for Windows and give to Linux. So here I've chosen, to give it about 50-50 or 60-40. Now it's repartitioning the drive. So this is an NTFS partition, and Linux Mint, these free operating systems, don't have any problem in very safely repartitioning your hard drive very quickly. Now I will have not lost anything at all, and here I'm just putting a username and password in, telling it to auto log in, and then clicking next. And here it's saying that it's found that I've got Windows, and would I like to import all of my document settings, pictures, and things like that. So I've said yes, I do. So it's going to be a real upgrade from Windows to Linux. Okay, this is like upgrading from one version of Windows to another version of Windows, because it's actually going to attempt to bring over some settings and some of your documents and things to the Linux environment, so that to smooth the transition for everybody. So it's a true upgrade. I believe that nobody could possibly call Windows superior to Linux if they fully understood everything about Linux and about Windows. So the only way you can look at it is that Linux is an upgrade from Windows. And the reason I bring this up is because I recently saw someone advertise a netbook on eBay, and it had Linux on it, and they had wrote in their detailed description that it had Linux on it, but that it was possible to upgrade it to Windows. So they said that because it had Linux, they're advertising that you can upgrade it to Windows. Now I find that completely wrong on so many levels, and that's what's motivated me to make this video, and I'm going to put in the title or somewhere in the description, upgrading from Windows to Linux. So I'm going to get the message out there to people that to go to Linux is an upgrade from Windows. Now this Linux Mint, it's far more superior than Windows 7, and all the features you're going to see in Windows 7 a lot of them are copied off Linux. Once you turn all the 3D effects on in Linux, then it blows your mind, and it's a lot more attractive than what Windows can do. And whenever I see new features come into the new versions of Windows, I've almost always seen those features previously available, years ago, for years, I should say, on the open source, platforms, with open source software and in Linux or on the Mac sometimes. So that's my 2 cents on the reality of operating systems, and it's very quick. Now the entire process of me checking the BIOS and booting off the CD, installing and then rebooting, and then having a little play for a few minutes I should say. I did all of that within 20 minutes on this camera recording, and I sped it up in my video editor in Linux to be 10 minutes due to the restrictions that YouTube put on the length of videos that we're allowed to upload. So sorry about that, but it's pretty quick. It's pretty amazing that within 20 minutes you can upgrade from Windows to Linux, I should say. Install. I suppose the traditional thing people call this would be installing a dual boot system. So this video is also, how to install Linux as a dual boot. I haven't deleted Windows yet, although I do have another video tutorial that I made earlier, where I show on a different computer how to delete the Windows copy off it once you've decided you're happy with the Linux operating system. So then I decided after making that I better make this one to sort of, show people how to get there in the first place. So this is the best I can do with the technology I have on hand right now for making a video tutorial that's it's not a screencast, it's a proper little educational documentary thing on how to do this. It's very simple now. I mean, you could be a beginner at computers and do this without a hassle. It doesn't ask you any technical questions. You don't need to know any jargon. You don't need to have a diploma or a certificate in information technology and computers to understand how to install this and use this operating system. This Linux Mint operating system is extremely user-friendly, intuitive. If you can read and write, then you can use it. That's how simple it is. Okay, it's just as easy as a Mac or a Windows latest versions, and if not easier in some ways. Some features that it has are far superior, such as its updating ability, and its ability to automatically detect almost all hardware. The fact that it's free, and that doesn't just mean that it's free to buy, but because it doesn't cost anything, but it also gives the user freedom of speech and allows you, to have the reassurance that you're working on a free platform, not restrained by proprietary locking, bad licenses. So I do encourage everyone to give this a go. So as we can see in the screenshot, it's almost finished. It's just installing the bootloader, doing some final hardware configurations and cleanups and things. It doesn't take very long, and then it will say it's done. Here you go, and I've just got to click to reboot, or I could have continued to use the operating system live off the CD, but it's far too slow. You've got to reboot to use it off the hard drive. And so here it's shutting down off the live operating system that it was running. And press enter to eject. Yep, pull the disk out, and it's going to reboot the machine now. So this laptop's only an AMD Athlon dual-core 1.6 gigahertz, I think, with 1 gig of RAM and an 80 gig hard drive. It cost me about $1,000 about 2 years ago. That's Australian money. So it's a pretty cheap laptop. You can't get one this slow anymore, obviously, except for netbooks, which are slower. It's nowhere near as fast as my desktop, which is a quad-core AMD Phenom. Right, and here we can see that Linux Mint has Linux Mint 7, or almost called it Windows 7, has finished loading, and we can see that it's imported my pictures from my Windows operating system and some files and stuff. So it's eased the transition, and classifies. I can classify that as an operating system upgrade. Thanks for watching. Bye.